Today's review is definitely going to be a pleasure doing, because right here we have the NZXT new AIO, and it's not any kind of AIO when it comes to NZXT, right? Because all of them currently don't have RGB fans. So for that cause, we right here have the NZXT KRAKEN X63 RGB. What's it all about? Did they actually made something to make our life easier if you want an RGB case with fans and all the other stuff? Let's find out after the intro. RGB, right, gives you FPS, lower temperatures and stuff like that. Just kidding, of course. But today we're having something really interesting, and it's the KRAKEN X63 RGB, as I said at the beginning. And what's it all about? Basically, we still have the Aztec 7th generation pump, which is also on the KRAKEN X63, well, basically KRAKEN X series and KRAKEN Z series, and this is really cool to have basically the same pump. But the meaning of this AIO is to pump up your RGB in your case if you decide to do so. So for instance, you bought an X63 and you want an RGB fans, and you need to buy separated ones. Now you have RGB fans as well with the standard NZXT connectivity. So let's open the box and check out what we got inside, and of course I think we'll find something cool inside without a doubt. You got the NZXT.com, you can scan the QR code, and this is their support that you can contact if you have any issues. Now for the rest of the box, here we go. We have the NZXT AER RGB fan. These are 140 millimeters since we have the 280 millimeter radiator, and this is it. They have the PWM connection, of course, but they also have the standard NZXT connections for their RGB. So basically you need to connect them together to make the RGB work and to control it through your NZXT cam application. Now let's go further with the box content. You have the back plates for your AMD or for your Intel processor. You get the locking nuts, locking screws, and everything here to mount the fans and the pump to your computer. Next to that, we have a bunch of cables. We will get to that later on. And of course, the radiator and the CPU block. But here we go. So, standard pump with standard connectivity. I think you're already familiar if you watched my previous NZXT KRAKEN videos. The connection is very simple, and the cool thing about it that you can rotate the top cap depending on how you place it, so you can get a nice OCD free NZXT logo with a straight NZXT sign. Of course, let's jump to the cables. So okay, now since I mentioned the fans have in and out connection, it's fairly simple. Usually you get a longer cable and then the cable management starts in and stuff like that. Well, this time they did something completely different, and I really appreciate them doing this, because this is the cable to connect the fans together. So first you mount the fans to your radiator. You of course have to decide which side, and this is a cable that is in and out for fans. So they stay like this, right? And the cable goes here. Of course you have the label so you won't miss it, and the best thing about it, they measured it exactly and giving you a couple of millimeters free space just to maneuver the cable. This is nice because basically you have only one cable going from two fans, and it's RGB. Remember, every RGB fan has one cable for the RGB and one for the PWM connection for controlling the speeds. Now you have only one. Also we have the cable, so USB 2.0, connecting it to the pump to control the pump, to control the lights. Right here we have the SATA connection, and also you have additional connectivity here. For instance, in this situation you can connect fans directly to the Kraken and control it like that. And finally we have the PWM splitter that you connect the PWM cables and control them directly through, I don't know, NZXT cam, but I'll definitely show you since I have the N7Z490, which we will place inside. So let's go with some benchmarks temperatures with the 10700K, and later on let's check out the cooler. I have to admit that building this build was fairly easy and straightforward, just because this time I didn't have to use separated AER RGB 2 fans because they arrived in the Kraken X63 RGB box and AIO. So yeah, you know, just placing the fans with the standard connectivity. And the best thing about it, that short cable really does help. As you can see, it's really, I would say, straightforward, because you just plug them in, connect everything, and it's really easy. So for RGB you have only one cable going from the fans. Now, taking into consideration the fans, radiator and the new Acetec 7th generation pump, I was testing the 10700K under full load, so I did the 64 extreme stress test, well, stability stress test with CPU, FPU, cache memory, system disk, even GPU, and the temperature was in average 66 Celsius degrees, which is really nice. The temperature did bounce from 62 to 70, but it never passed 70 Celsius degrees, which is really interesting that it had 66 Celsius degrees on average. Now, the looks of it, just check this out. What to say? I mean, finally you don't have to add, if you want an RGB AIO with full CPU block and the fans, you just connect the fans that you already have. It looks good, especially with the CPU block with the mirror design. The fans are really cool, and of course the cooling is great. Now, of course, the 140mm one at the rear I added myself. It's not coming with the package with the box. You get only two 140mm fans. Logical, because it's 280mm radiator, but still it looks cool. And the great thing about it, if you don't like the placement of the pipes, you can always rearrange how you want. So rotating the block and then rotating the cap to get the straight NZXT logo, and adjusting it OCD free, as I said. So yeah, really cool. So I connected the RGB from the fans directly to the Kraken, so you don't have to, for instance, if you don't have any kind of a connection on your motherboard for NZXT connectors, and if you don't have the smart controller in your NZXT case, for instance, like I don't with the H710, you can just plug them in the Kraken and it will light up. NZXT cam application will recognize the LEDs, and that's all there is to it. So really cool that they finally decided to place RGB fans in their AIO, and the X63 RGB really does look stunning. So guys, thank you for watching today's video. I'll put the links below for the NZXT KRAKEN X63 RGB AIO in the description below. If you like the video, as usual, click the thumbs up button. Don't forget to comment your thoughts below and subscribe for future content. See you very soon. Bye bye.